In this video, we will guide you through processing a dismissal of an employee that works a 3-day week. It will involve the payment of 2 days or 15.2 hours of normal ordinary pay in this pay cycle, unused annual leave with leave loading, and 4 weeks in lieu of notice. Payment will be made outside the normal pay cycle. Other types of terminations, like a redundancy and a resignation, are covered in other videos. Payout of unused long service leave is conditional on state industrial relations law and length of service. Long service leave will not be payable in all resignation circumstances. In this example, unused long service leave is not being paid out. Also, additional payments may be subject to caps, and the employee's age may affect the tax rate that applies. Users should consult their accountants or other payroll advisors for clarification of any points in terminating an employee. Because of the complexities involved, Books Plus is unable to accurately calculate the amount of tax payable on eligible termination payment items, like in lieu of notice, gratuitous payments, and others. You will need to calculate this component of tax manually and enter it when prompted. Books Plus has a termination process that is triggered from the employee record and will apply the correct tax scales to the payment of unused leave items according to the type of termination and clear the leave registers. The first step of preparing to terminate is to check that pay items are correctly configured for the needs of the termination process. Go to Payroll, Employees, select the employee, in this case Dexter DeVere. Click the Leave tab. Ensure that the annual leave item is ticked to Pay on Termination. This is its default setting. Ticking Pay on Termination will ensure that these items get the correct tax treatment using lump sum tax tables rather than the PAYG tax tables in the termination process. Also, ensure that the correct leave loading percentage, in this case 17.5%, has been entered in the leave loading column. Ensure that long service leave is unticked for pay on termination for this example. While we are on the Leave tab, we can have a quick look at the accumulated leave hours for correctness, and if there appears to be any error, to correct it. Now go to the Pay Setup tab. Change the quantity for the ordinary rate for the number of hours to be paid in this pay cycle. That's 15.2. This will ensure that outstanding leave hours are increased by the exact number of hours worked in this pay cycle. Next, we need to create a pay item for in lieu of notice. Go to Cogwheel, Settings, Payroll Settings, and Pay Items. Check the list of existing pay items, and if it is not there, click on Add to create it. In the pay item type, select Earnings. For earnings type, select Termination. Set a name for the item, in lieu of notice. Add a further description if it's necessary. Note the next field, Pay Rate Basis, is greyed out and fixed on Other. That is, the amount cannot be calculated by the program, and you will enter the amount manually. In the expense account, select your preferred account, like payroll expense, salary and wages. The checkbox for Include in Time Worked Leave Accruals should remain unchecked. The tax applicable field is greyed out and fixed on Termination. Finally, in the termination type, select the appropriate type of termination. In this case, all other termination payments, excludes unused annual or long service leave. Click Save and Close to complete it. Now open the Super Guarantee item and scroll down to the Pay Items Included section. We have determined that Super is payable on the in lieu of notice item, so we need to tick it in this included list. We are now ready to start the termination process. Go to Payroll, Employees, select the employee Dexter DeVere, click on the Employment tab and scroll down to Important Dates section. In the Termination Date field, enter the date of termination and click outside the line. You'll be asked for a type of termination. Select Employee was terminated from the drop-down menu. Now click on Yes, Create Pay Run to proceed to the Pay Run screen. If you click on No, Not Now, the pay items will be saved to the employee, and when they are included in a pay run, these termination settings will be populated and not their ordinary pay setup items. A new pay run will open with the name Termination Dexter DeVere and today's date. Enter in the payment date for this pay run. Click on Dexter DeVere in the table to open his pay run. You should firstly enter the pay period start date and pay period end date. In the table, you'll see the earnings section populate with the ordinary times earnings rate, unused annual leave, and leave loading. Note that the number of leave hours has been adjusted for the final ordinary time earnings payment. In the rates column, you'll see the hourly rate is the same as the ordinary time earnings hourly rate. In the amounts column, you will see the calculation of the payment for that item. At the base of the section will be the total of the earnings payment. At the foot of the screen, you will see section totals, including the amount of PAYG tax for the ordinary time earnings and leave items. If you think the tax calculation is incorrect, then you'll need to review your selection for the termination type when you started the termination process. Note that super is calculated only for the ordinary time earnings item and not the unused leave items and loading. Now add in the in lieu of notice item in the earnings section. You'll need to work out the amount, 4 times the number of hours in the employee's working week, that's 22.8, times the hourly rate of pay, that's $22, for a total of $2,006.40. Enter this amount in the rate field, and you'll see this amount appear in the amounts field. And the totals in the earnings section will change for the added item. Now scroll down to the company summary section to see the super guarantee payment and see that it has increased for the in lieu of notice item. Scroll down to the tax section. You'll note that a second line has appeared, termination, and that it is blank. You must manually calculate the applicable tax for the ETP items, considering applicable caps above which the highest tax rate will apply, and the preservation age of the employee. You may want to consult your accountant or other payroll advisor on the correct caps, thresholds, and tax rates that apply. We have determined that 32% applies to the entire ETP amount. That is 0.32 of $2,006.40 for a tax amount of $642.04. Next to the blank tax field, click on the Details link and click on Add New Row. In the taxable component field, enter the total ETP payment, in this case $2,006.40. In the tax-free component field, enter any tax-free ETP amount. In this case, leave it blank. In the ETP code field, select the appropriate code. In this case, select O for Other. In the tax withheld field, enter the amount of tax you manually calculated. In this case, $642.04. When done, click on Save and Close and see the tax amount appear in the amount and year-to-date fields on the termination line of the tax section. At the bottom of the screen, you will see the totals for the various sections of this termination pay, and in the bottom right, the amount of the net payment to the employee. Return to the top of the screen and click on the Termination Dexter DeVere link to return to the main screen for this pay run. Now click on Actions and then Finish Pay Run to complete the pay run. You can then continue and click on Email Payslip to send the payslip to the employee. Click on Payroll, Single Touch Payroll to prepare the pay for STP. Click on the Draft Pay Run there and click on Send to GovConnect STP. This process will mark Dexter DeVere with the tag Final Event. Then click on Launch GovConnect STP. Click on Open for the STP entity for this business, and you will see at the top of the table the entry for this termination pay. Click on Details and you can confirm that the employee is tagged as a final event. And to the left, the amount of the ETP component. Click on the Details link to see the actual information that will be sent to the ATO. The top section is equivalent to the old INB payment summary, and the bottom section is equivalent to the old ETP payment summary. Return to the GovConnect home screen and click on Submit when ready to send the STP information to the ATO. The final step is to clean up the employee record. Terminated employees will not be available on pay runs, and they will appear as terminated on the payroll employee list. But they will still show on the Employees List Active tab. Tick the checkbox to the left of the employee's name and click on Mark as Inactive to remove them from the Active tab list. You can now view the terminated employee on the Inactive tab or on the All tab where their status is inactive. The entire termination process is now complete. Thanks for watching this video, and if this scenario does not match your circumstances, please look at our redundancy and resignation videos. For further help with specific steps, go to help.ipabooksplus.com. If you still have any further questions, please email us at support@ipabooksplus.com.